What's going on, guys? Tonight we got a Tiberius Mauler Carmel. And this thing came out beautiful. This is the exact pheno I would be looking for this one. So I'm going to steal some seeds. I don't know, I just love that look. This is fresh out of the garden. What's that smell that makes your mouth water? Look at that. That is just demonic looking. Steal some seeds out of this one. This is another one from my garden. Except a lot of the phenos don't look like this one. This is the one I've been keeping an eye out for. Sometimes they'll come in long and straight. Pretty much exactly how I was explaining the primatale. I like this phenotype. There we go. I feel like this one just really fits the name better. The Tiberius Mauler, it's got to be angry and gnarly and looks like it will maul you. I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it. And this is definitely the phenotype that looks that it would fit that role. Okay, that should be good. Let's give this a try. One more look at this beautiful, ugly, just wonderful thing. Fruity and citrusy right off the bat. And then comes that floral. Just the smell from this thing alone is burning my nose. All right, so the initial bite, the very first bite I took, is very fruity and very citrusy. The second bite, halfway down the pepper, it still had those notes, but it started getting more floral. And the very back end of the pepper tasted very similar to kind of like a 7 Pot Primo would. Excuse me. Like fruity and floral, but like a really strong fruity and a really strong floral. The citrus notes weren't there in the second half of the pod like they were up towards the tip. The more floral that came in, the less citrus I tasted. It stayed fruity all the way through it. Burn is real intense on the tongue. Kind of feels like it's working its way back towards the throat. and the roof of my mouth, all the way towards the back. Feel it there too. Felt like it was going to start digging in the throat. As I say that, it kind of returned a little bit. It was starting to go away. It started burning in my throat, and then it started going away, and then it came back. As it intensifies in my throat, it's not as intense on the tongue. So it's a good 5. Very strong 5, which is great for this late in the season. That one's a really, really good intensity to that one. Now I do feel it all the way down the tongue and in my throat again. Pretty much has come back everywhere as it faded. It seems like as it started burning somewhere else, it felt like it stopped burning, stopped burning as much in other places. But then once it evened out, it's an all over burn, the whole mouth and the throat. Just kind of played the back and forth game. As it started burning somewhere new, your mind starts focusing on that new burn. And it kind of took away from the burn in other places. But it's like that one reaches its peak real quick. As soon as it starts burning somewhere, it's immediately peaked. And then as it starts touching other places or bonding to other places, it does the same thing. That's interesting. So it's lessened up in the throat. Now it's all on the tongue. But as it's doing the same thing as it build up, spreading around, this one really is an immediate attack. Because like I said, it started burning new places. And then it leveled out. And this one kind of faded in that, or like kind of in that staging process. It faded in the same manner though. It started fading one place, and then I felt it more somewhere else. And then that faded, and I felt it more somewhere else. But then once they kind of went through them all fading away, the burn was almost completely gone evenly. I got just a tingle in my mouth. A very even burn all the way around. But it's a lot lower than what it was. This one's aggressive and reaches its peak very quickly, but kind of migrates. Here, blow my nose for that one. Excuse me, that burp. Yeah, if you don't like floral, I don't suggest that one. I do like the floral. That one was pretty pungent. But that initial bite makes up for any pungent or bitter floral. because it was so fruity and so citrusy in that first bite. The very tip of the pepper. I bit it basically right where the bulbs meet, where the tail comes out. I bit it down to there. And that bite was all flavor. That was pretty much, ironically, very similar to mustard primatale, which is funny because they almost kind of look the same. Now, heat-wise, this one was nowhere close to the primatale. Obviously, we can say that confidently. But flavor-wise, surprisingly, very similar in ways. This one kind of almost, it's almost leaving a smoky flavor in my mouth, which I really expected to taste more while I was eating it. But it was really fruity and citrusy. Then I kind of went floral. And it almost seemed like it was going to get bitter, but it never did get bitter. Now, as the burn's fading, I can still taste the fruity for sure. But also kind of getting a smoky earthiness now. Which again, it's funny that I didn't get it while I was chewing on the pod, because of how strong the other flavors were. Now that everything's dulled down, I'm getting the earthy, smoky, fruity flavor. And a little bit of floral too. Burn's completely gone. Flavor's barely lingering, barely hanging on. Not really much is there. But yeah, that was a great pod. Tiberius Mauler Carmel. All right, guys. Burn daily.